doomer material. Hold on, I'm gonna bring it up here.
All right.
So, survivors still being found as quake death toll tops 28,000. I mean,
Wow.
I don't want to show you the other pictures in this because, it's really graphic. Will probably get us, blacklisted, even more than we already are. Latakia, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, Latika.
Ibrahim Zakaria lost track of time, drifting into and out of consciousness while trapped for nearly 5 days in the rubble of his home following the massive struck because, you can't breathe in rubble. The 23-year-old cell phone shop worker from the town of 𝖳𝗎kipi𝗂yitu-𝖲tui𝗂𝖺yu survived on dirty drips of water, Jesus Christ, and eventually lost hope that he'd be saved. Just a couple more paragraphs here. I said, I am dead and it will be impossible for me to live again. Zakaria, who was rescued Friday night, told the Associated Press on Saturday from his bed at a hospital in the coastal city of Latakia, where his 60-year-old mother, 𝖳𝗎kipi𝗂yitu-𝖲tuiR𝗋𝗂𝖺yu, was also recovering. 5 days after two powerful apart caused thousands of buildings to collapse, killing more than 28,000 people and leaving millions homeless. Rescuers were still pulling unlucky survivors from the ruins. One of them just 7 months old. So this, oh man,
unbelievable. What happened is a human tragedy above a human tragedy. That area has been under war and embargo for the last about 12 years. And it's like adding misery to misery. You understand?
Yeah.
So I feel sorry what's going on over there. They're not getting any help. At least the Turkish people have a government to help them. They don't have anybody to help them. And they have an issue with the courier, how to get into that area. They only have one road that the Russians agreed to like 3 years ago when they were playing geopolitics. So the situation, it is dire. A lot of buildings collapsed. More than, I think, 5,000 buildings collapsed inside. This happened in 1999. About almost 20,000 people died. And this time it happened again. I heard it's called a fault line. It's like the one we have in California. Or something.
Yeah. I think that's where tectonic plates meet with each other. So, they're constantly shifting all the time, which is why California has so many. So you literally feel like the world, gyrating, as they just scrape upon, one another and kind of move here and there.
Have you ever felt a movement building or anything like that?
I've lived in Florida all my life, so I'm well within a tectonic plate. I'm nowhere near a fault line. So
right.
Now, to compensate with that, obviously we have one, Republican politicians, and two, which comes with them, hurricanes spurred on by climate change. So we've got our fair share of natural disasters.
But I want to ask you a question. Why in the United States that a hurricane will come and destroy the whole town because the houses are made out of wood, and then people will come back and build the house again out of wood? Don't they have concrete and steel? Why? What's up?
It's just a cheap material to build with because stainless steel and concrete are slightly more expensive than just classic wood. So it's more of an infrastructural problem, I think. Obviously these really local governments in rural America, red governments, just won't provide, public housing, decent infrastructure for their people, subsidies to actually build sustainable houses that'll last, that are very durable.
Yeah.
They don't care about you. They don't care about our material circumstances and, how our day-to-day lives affect us. But,
Remember when we grew up, the three piggies that help them puff? Was it the pigs? The house of straw, the house of this?
Yeah.
And then he went to the house of it. It's amazing to me because my native country, where I come from, it's a poor country, but all the houses are built in the cities. They have like a stainless steel rods, and they use concrete.
Yeah.
They use rocks, and in the village they use rocks from the mountain, so the houses are made strong. And here, if I was the insurance companies, if I'm losing every 10 years all this money, why would I not force people to build better houses and give them an incentive to use concrete and bricks, those artificial bricks? It will go a long way to save them money, time, and lives instead of getting this devastation every year. Let's go back to the hurricane. We don't But it is crazy here in the United States. It's like it don't make no sense. I mean, you should learn your lesson after a while, right or wrong.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Turkish government, it's not really there to help the people. I mean, obviously, their ruling class with, Erdogan, I really just think they care about themselves, which is why, charities, these humanitarian relief funds, have to swoop in,
Yeah.
But, yeah, go ahead.
It's a real tragedy. So I don't even think the government will be able to handle such. Remember when that building fell in Florida? Teams came from Mexico and Israel to help out, and it's one building, the condo that fell in Florida.
Yeah, so, it had really shoddy construction and deregulation.
Yeah. If you live on a fault line, you should have some sort of like they have these houses where they build them and are able to withstand any movement of sand. Unless it's the tragedy. I hope when they rebuild, they put that into place inside. If you're living on a fault line, you should be able to force building codes that are able to withstand not 100%. At least it will save a lot of lives in the long run. Because I think in 1999, I don't even know if it's the same area, but I know since about 18,000 and 19,000 people died the same thing. Now, I know you mentioned Erdogan, but if you know the history of before that, it was a military were the real rulers of that country.
Yeah.
Every 10 years, 20 years, they will come, we got to save secularism, and they will overthrow the government, put everybody in jail, and kill as many people as they want. Erdogan is a little crazy, his fault, but he has built, in the last 20 years, jumped a milestone from where a country with a cup of coffee costs 500,000 lira. You haven't been. My brothers that came back. It's beautiful. They built the biggest airport, the biggest things. The only thing about Erdogan, I don't like. He's a bit too religious.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I don't like about him. I think religion should be far away from government because it doesn't end well when religion gets involved in government. Yeah, but right now, they're going to have an election in 4 months. I don't know how this is going to affect the election a lot because a lot of people are upset at the response from the government.
Yeah.
And it is a shame. A lot of people died, and children, women. And let's hope, we pray. We pray for the people who died and those who are in the hospital. We still are a brotherhood of man.
Yeah.
Like John Lennon said that a brotherhood of man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And his government response, Erdogan specifically, has been, vehemently criticized. I think it might affect the election. Let's get into a few of those points right now. Here's an article from NPR.
He was in trouble already because inflation is like 60-70% in 1 year.
Yeah.
He refuses to raise the interest rate for the borrowing. When inflation goes up, we raise the interest rate for the central bank. He won't do it. He's doing the opposite. He's going low. He's lowering the interest instead of making high to control inflation.
Yeah. I mean,
usually is a sin to him. Go ahead.
Yeah, because he apparently I've read some articles. Apparently he's ignoring his longtime trusted advisors and just doing what he wants, and it's not working out well for Istanbul. From MTR, rescuers continue to search for bodies from underneath thousands of toppled buildings in southern. More than 380,000 people in this region have been left homeless. That's going to create some sort of refugee crisis along the line. This government was just not prepared, says Soli Özel, lecturer at xanderhal University in Istanbul. As of Thursday, fatalities from the past 20,000, according to the Associated Press. As toll rises now more than 17,000. So does criticism of the government of Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, and what many see as its lack of preparation and sluggish response to the tragedy. Even Erdogan himself has admitted The first day we had some discomforts before insisting to survivors near the quake epicenter. Second day and then today, the situation got under control. No, that's just not the case, man.
What did you say that? What? They had earthquake taxes. See, since they had 20 years ago, they had 21 years ago, they had it said earthquake taxes for over 20 years. So they had the money, I guess.
Yeah.
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 But I have to respond to something like that. It's like a bomb. I mean, the way that you see how that city was devastated. I mean, it's like being punched in the gut or in the face, without really knowing. Then it takes you a while to react to the punch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Have you ever been punched? I've been punched in the face, and I don't know. I know I got knocked the hell out over a girl. I got knocked out, and you're dizzy. He wasn't expecting that punch.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It is a shame.
I'm going to read a bit more, just a few more paragraphs. After a catastrophic western more than 18,000 people in 1999, authorities imposed an tax meant to corral billions of dollars worth of disaster prevention and relief.
Yeah.
They greased their cronies' palms with taxes, says political opposition leader Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu. Sorry, I haven't studied. I'm obviously going to butcher these names.
Yeah.
Where's that money? It's gone.
Definitely.
Ozil says it's not just a near total incompetence, unpreparedness on the part of the government in responding to this week's. To make matters worse, if that were even possible, he says the government is also making it almost impossible for organizations, civil society, citizens themselves, and mayors and municipalities to actually help. Erdogan's centralization of has meant a plethora of restrictions on how individual cities and aid organizations can operate in the country, hampering overall rescue efforts. So I guess, this lack of democratization, the bureaucracy, the lack of, federalization and actually giving people a say, I mean, it's not working out for him. And he's just appropriating the funds, well, not stealing the funds, but, imposing taxes and just putting them, where he wants. With an election expected by June, Ozil says Erdogan has already been weakened by out of control inflation and to control inflation, the last thing you do is raise the interest rates. I mean,
No, you lower the interest rates.
Well, yeah. So sorry, I got the terminology. Yeah, Omar, you're right. The last thing you do is lower the interest rates because that's what you do in a recession. You need to, bolster spending. You need to get things going. So I would expect the government to actually be one of the victims under the rubble of this. Ozil predicts.
Well, they've been in power 20 years. People are tired of them. They did a lot, but after a while, you accumulate a lot of. You accumulate a lot of bad stuff, and eventually you collapse under that